Hi everyone, I tried to make a video before but it didn't work out. I'm trying again. I'm actually clocked on for a shift as a peer support worker, but the first person to call isn't picking up, and that always leaves me feeling sad because that's why we're there, to support them. But I guess people are going through hard shit, and a lot of us do. A lot of us do. I'm no exception. Whether we're creatives or if we're scholar activists or endeavour to be, or want to make change in the arts or through advocacy or whatever, especially those of us in the trans community, it's a tall order. And in order to be able to reach a level in which we have a political voice and influence, not just as individuals, but where our projects and dreams are actually going ahead, whether that be funding or that we are finally appointed to roles of significance. It's a real long road, and I'm very saddened to hear of the death of Hanna Fernanda Cervantes, who was a young trans activist and official at the Puebla State Government Secretariat. She died about a week ago at the age of 24, and she couldn't cope anymore. So this is something I'd like to just honor her with, because she obviously achieved a lot, but her overthinking, her self-critical internal voice meant that she found it hard to see the way through, even with all that she was doing. People are quite taken aback in Puebla with this news, and I'm not surprised, because oftentimes we project images of strength, especially when we're very visible in the midst of all the kind of contention and hate as well. She expressed in a late post and a note that she was tired. Today I decide to no longer continue of my own free will because I'm tired. I'm tired of not being the best person, the best friend, the best student, the best worker, the best daughter. Sadness and emotional exhaustion, as this article says, frustrated by not achieving her goals despite her efforts. It tires me to know that I'll never amount to anything, no matter how hard I try, no matter how much I support others. It frustrates me to know I won't be able to do anything. And yet she was a powerful voice within the LGBTQ plus community of Puebla. In May 2025, she participated in a press conference for the International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia, where, megaphone in hand, she demanded that authorities not downplay cases of violence based on sexual orientation and gender identity. She was the first trans woman to study for a bachelor's degree in public administration and development management at la UAP, the Benemérita Universidad Autónoma de Puebla. She was also a member of the Morena Party and collaborated with various civil society organizations on issues of inclusion, human rights, and public policy with a gender perspective. Here's a homage to her. Dear friend, today we say goodbye with all love and respect. You were a true pioneer, a tireless fighter. Your courage broke down barriers and inspired many. This is not just burnout. This is more. And this is why we need mental health supports in our community contexts. Oftentimes, those of us who are the biggest fighters are those that have hurt the most. That's not to say that there aren't different forms of trauma and injury that people can experience, and injustice. But when it's repeated and when you are desperately looking for justice, you can have some real downtimes as well. And when I read her comments, I thought, I've gotten to that point at times. And recently, someone, a troll, wrote something like, I wonder how many years until you decide to take yourself out. It's an environment of hostility that we have to contend with when we're visible. And when we're constantly working to try to bring into being our visions of change with others, obviously. Hanna Fernanda couldn't do it on her own. We feel that we're never good enough. That when, especially when doors close to us, or we have to fight and fight and fight. It might be a job in a new role that we're overlooked for. It might be a grant or fellowship, or whatever area. We put so much love and energy into things, and we're not always seen or included. Yeah. I can't speak to all of her experiences, but some of them are laid out there. I'm deeply sad that it got to the point where she just didn't feel like she had any supports around her, and she was just tired. But that's when people lose hope, in spite of how busy they seem with what they're doing. And, I tend to that as well, that I just throw myself into things and I experience my emotions, my sadness, my grief, my hurt, my anger, my rage, all of the things that the paradigm of trans joy doesn't allow us to speak publicly about, and therefore get the appropriate support, because we put out this image of being strong, resolving problems, stepping up. But as Miss Major, veteran trans elder, said, you cannot have resistance, you cannot have a movement without care. And that goes double for those of us who are in this morass politically, and in different forms of invalidation, subjected to different forms of invalidation. I'm older than Anna was, only 24. I would like to pay testament to her work. But let's not get to that point collectively. Let's not only be for others, but be for ourselves, to find those times and to connect and to really feel that things change slowly, but they will change. But what is happening right now for you, whatever is happening, whatever doors are being closed, whatever forms of invalidation, it will not last forever. I'm 30 years older than Anna, and I'm not saying I have a superior take, because as I said, I struggle with these things as well. I'll put some resources down below in regard to mental health. Please take care of yourselves. I only draw this case into this video because I'm affected by it, because I've worked with people in Puebla. And I know that people in the community would be really shocked. But we have to support each other. We really do. And dream and be that world that we want to bring into existence. I've had a lot of disappointments as well. And sometimes I feel absolutely exhausted. But I've got to continue. We've got to continue. But first of all, care for ourselves and reach out to others. And also remember that we matter. that we're enough.